at the core of my being, at the essence of who I am, as an expression of God, it feels good. And that's true for each and every one of us. The other day I read in another book, another meditation book that I'm going through this year, the 24 hours a day. And it said, my faith in God's power can accomplish anything. Strengthen my faith, rely on God's power more and more. That speaks so much to me about consciousness and the consciousness of the divine. That there is an awareness, there is a commitment, there is that idea that feels really good that I'm going to continue on a day-to-day basis to build my faith and strengthen my faith and rely on the power and presence of the divine in my life. And it's guaranteed, it's not a maybe, it's guaranteed that my life changes and up-levels and expands and feels better and better and better. So then I started thinking about how do we do this? And I've already touched on the fact that we do it together. And I think that is, I mentioned in a practitioner moment a while back that there was a quote in Science of Mind magazine last year that said something to the effect of, if God had intended us for us to do this spiritual work alone, then we would have been on a gazillion different islands. We wouldn't be all together. We wouldn't be in community. I think the intention is very clear that we're here to do this all together. And then I read in our readings this week that phrase that really jumped out at me and kind of made me itch a little when I first read it. And it said, both cause and effect are spiritual. I don't think I look at it that way very often. I don't know about you folks. I am often in a place where I'm looking at effect much differently than the divine. But it says both cause and effect are spiritual. So again, it's bringing my attention to a place where I have to consider something different. I have to let go of something familiar like duality, and I have to consider that there is a oneness and an allness to God in my life. And that the process of my expression as a human being, which involves cause and effect, is in and of itself sacred. Wow. The personality conflict I'm having with so-and-so is sacred? That client that is always looking over my shoulder is sacred? But the thing of it is, it makes me stop and ask that question. And it's in the asking of that question, I believe, that we are able to lean in away from the duality and lean in a little further into the oneness and the allness of who we are. So I see that even in that what feels as me, as Ricky, what feels like a conflict or unsettling or unrest or abrasive, is really a signal, isn't it? And we heard that already here too. It's a signal. A flag, red, yellow, pink, whatever. But it's a signal saying, hey, look at this. What part of this can you change your perception about? And what part of this can you be grateful for and say, thank you, God, for showing me something that's going to help me to see this more richly, more deeply. It completely changes, I believe, in my life, the way I communicate. It completely changes the way that I am able to, in conscious awareness, move from reacting to responding. There's become a huge difference in that for me. It says too, we do not have to push or drive, but we must accept and believe. And that for me too was really good to hear because, and I've said this many times before too, a lot of you have heard me say that, that word work, we use that a lot around here. We have to do the work. And I just, that word work kind of, you remember Maynard G. Krebs? Yeah. Work! It still hits me that way sometimes. But this puts a different feel, and it comes back to that feeling again. We do not have to push or drive. And see, I look at work that way, like I'm pushing or driving. I have to be driven. I have to do the work. But it doesn't say it that way. It says we don't have to push or drive, but we must accept and believe. Now, granted, I can do this, and I do my quiet time at home, and it's very rich and it's very beautiful. But the reminders that I need, the expansion that I desire, is found in community. It's found in the one-on-one prayer that we do around here. It's found in the prayer circle. It's found in the singing and the rejoicing and the celebrating. It's found when we are in a circle together in the silence and we feel that energy. It's found in community. That's why we have prayer and meditation. That's why we have treatment. That's why we have contemplation. That's why we share together our gratitude and our celebration and our discomfort and our pain. We share it because we get to move through it more easily and feeling much better moving through it when we're moving through it together. Oh, but I can't see a practitioner. I don't have anything specific to say. Or I don't want to be complaining because then I'm going to get more of what I'm complaining about. So many different things. Here's where that slogan comes into play, I think, of just do it. And I know you've heard so much of this stuff before. But I want to tell you again, too, like when someone comes to me as a practitioner and I get to pray with you, I get to do treatment with you. Do you hear what I'm saying? I get to pray with you. I get to do treatment with you. Believe me, it does enormous things for me. It does huge things for my life. It expands me and helps me grow. It's a favor to me. I'm not doing it because I'm some bigger